It is a British terror trial which will be associated forever perhaps with these images. Firearms police crabbing along a council block balcony on a July afternoon. They shoot CS gas into a flat, through the door, through the window, until eventually out of the darkness emerged two men. Naked but for their underpants, choking on the gas, frightened and submissive. Not exactly a picture of the exalted jihadi martyrdom they thought they were destined for. A martyrdom sealed, they thought, in a series of explosions whose reverberations would leave one more day in the calendar forever abbreviated by terror. They began constructing the bombs in April 2005. Mukhtar Saeed Ibrahim, a 29-year-old petty criminal from North London, is filmed here picking up one instalment of the 440 litres of liquid hydrogen peroxide they bought from hair product shops in London. Back it went to the flat of 26-year-old Yassin Omar, and together with Ramzi Mohammed, a 25-year-old father of two, and Ethiopian-born Hussein Osman, they built their bombs, cooked on a simple kitchen stove, but each, as these replica forensic tests would later show, capable of significant destruction. On the 21st of July, fortified by their collection of jihadi propaganda films, this one among them, the four men set out on what the prosecution would call their mission to blow themselves to paradise. Three took underground trains from Stockwell Station in South London. At the Oval, at just after 12:30, Ramzi Mohammed, one arm casually draped from a rail, turns his rucksack towards a young mum, her 9-month-old child beside her, and tries to detonate his bomb. The main charge fails to ignite. The child's pushchair here just inches away from the attempted explosion. The train keeps moving. Everyone runs for the internal doors, bar one off-duty fireman here in the white T-shirt, who amazingly stays to remonstrate with the bomber, now standing alone in the middle of the carriage.
I was 100 feet underground. I was in a tunnel, and I was on a moving train, and there was no help coming my way. Anyway, I pulled the woman back, and at this stage I think I had my first shouted conversation with Ramzi Mohammed. I asked him repeatedly, what had he done, what had he done? To which he screamed back. Most of it was fairly unintelligible. And I said, no, what's that, pointing to the still smoking object that was on the floor, which was just smoking stuff on the floor. And he indicated and laughed and said, "This is bread." And one thing, it wasn't bread.
When the train stops, Mohammed flees. On the other side of London, near Shepherd's Bush tube station, Hussein Osman tries to trigger his bomb, but there's no explosion. Moments later, it's the turn of Yassin Omar, nearing Warren Street. Again, only the detonator ignites. He's heard to yell in pain before running off, the chemicals apparently burning his hands. Finally, just after 1 o'clock on Shoreditch High Street, in an echo of the 7th of July attacks, one of the bombers steps aboard a bus and takes a back seat. There, Mukhtar Ibrahim, the acknowledged leader of the group, prepares for his own personal Armageddon. Another failed explosion, another delusional paradise lost, and the beginning of the biggest manhunt in the Met's history.
Please find another police officer or go to your nearest police station and identify yourselves there.
The four left clues everywhere. Hussein Osman left his gym membership card in his rucksack. He would soon be traced to Rome, but not before a man living in the same block of flats as him, Jean-Charles de Menezes, was apparently mistaken for Osman and shot dead by the police at Stockwell. But it was those ubiquitous, blurred CCTV snapshots which proved so crucial, leading to the identification and arrest of Yassin Omar, who'd fled to Birmingham, his 6'2" frame cloaked in a burqa, white handbag adorned. Mukhtar Ibrahim was identified to the police by his family. 1 week later, He and Ramzi Mohammed were traced to this flat in West London and confronted by a Met firearms team led by an officer codenamed Whiskey Alpha.
Our biggest fear was they would come onto the balcony with an explosive device, and that would obviously expose the police even more so to the danger there. So we asked them to come out in their underwear, which they did readily do so. And in fact, they were quite compliant when they came out. I remember one of them questioning his rights and, you know, irritating the fact that he wouldn't be shot by police. But quite clearly that was never going to happen. It became very evident as soon as they came out onto the balcony that we recognised them as the subjects that we've been looking for. So there was a great sense of achievement amongst the team that we'd actually captured 2 of them.
The bombs that they packed into their rucksacks inside this flat on that morning of the 21st of July were never meant to go off, claimed the defendants. They were merely harmless hoax devices intended as a dramatic protest against the Iraq War. A defence described recently by the police as ludicrous and today rejected by the jury sitting at Woolwich Crown Court. All 4 men had tried to recreate the horrific scenes of the 7th of July, but in another echo of that particular case, all 4 had been photographed secretly by Special Branch over a year before the attempted attacks, a fact which raises questions again about this country's ability to actively monitor suspected terrorists.